Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Broyans Farm. The first thing we're starting out with today is digging potatoes. So we're gonna head down to the field and see how Dad's making out. So I just got down here to the potato field, and so this is it right here. We have two right here. You can see where like these mounds are a little bit. That's where the rows are. So there's 4 rows left of reds, and then we have 2, 4, 6, 8 rows of white, but they're not full rows because my dad actually ended up digging like half of them. So what I was just talking to Dad about was that we actually want to save 4 full rows for market, or for our home farm market for the winter, because it gets expensive to buy potatoes, and obviously we like to think our potatoes have a better flavor than the bought-in ones. So we want to keep them as long as possible. So going to the Scranton Co-op Farmers Market and the Wilkes-Barre Market, we're just gonna not be taking white potatoes much longer because we're running out. So right now, Dad is up here in the process of digging whites. These are actually, I think he said this might be the last 2 rows, or maybe 2 more rows he's gonna dig yet. And then these are gonna be done for the market season. And then we'll store the rest. We'll put them in bins in our storage cellar. But you can see they're really nice, good size, not marked up or scarred up or anything like that. There was a couple weeds here and there. We could have mowed them off, and it'd probably be a little bit easier, but it's really not that big of a deal. Because of the lack of rain, I would say we didn't get quite the yield out of the potatoes that we should have, like other years, but still we're just thankful that we got potatoes, and the potatoes that are here are nice. Jeez. Got it? Wow.
It's a stone.
So our stone was wedged in between the gear down here, or the spindle, and it just wouldn't even allow the whole roller to go around. So got that out, about 15 minutes. Now you can start up again. So as you can see, how it works is the shoe in the front goes underneath the soil and goes underneath this mound of potatoes. As it goes under, it goes up onto those chains where the chains will actually bounce and roll back. So not only is it shaking the stones and the soil off of the potatoes and putting it back down on the ground, and then it rolls the potatoes off the back and lays them right on top. So it's a really cool, neat design. That kind of digger is made more for farmers like ourselves that aren't doing 50 acres. We grow, I think, 2 to 5 acres. I can't remember. I think it's like 3 acres that we grow, but I'm gonna say 2 to 5 just to be safe. So now all these will have to be hand picked up, which is thousands and thousands of potatoes. And we don't do them all at once. We usually do 2 to 4 rows at a time. So as you can see down there where that grass field ends, this is all potatoes up to where this grass field again now then begins. So it's really not that bad of a job because we don't do so many, and usually when we do it, we have a good amount of people to help us. But when you start getting up into, you know, 10, 15, 20, 30 acres of potatoes, it's almost not even feasible to do it by hand. That's why they have potato harvesters, where it will not only do what our digger is doing, but then it picks them up, shakes them off nice, and then puts them in a, or you can unload them into some kind of bin or tub or something like that. That way, you know, there is no hand picking. So this is what works for us, but there's definitely a lot of other methods that work for bigger farmers. Okay, so I'm up here now in the broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, kohlrabi field. And so I need to get just a couple picked of broccoli and cauliflower for my mom for the market. And so I'm gonna head in now. Kind of forgot my rain pants and muck boots, so I'm gonna be going in with, well, what you see here. And so I'm probably gonna get soaked. Usually just from the morning dew, there's quite a bit of water laying on them. I'm gonna do a little walk through here and I'll show you quick what the broccoli's looking like. This is a new variety of broccoli, and I actually cannot remember what the name of it is, but this is the nicest broccoli we have grown in quite some time. Really proud of it. And right down the row, huge heads, probably 8-10 inches, some are even a foot in diameter. And so I'm gonna go through here and get some of these picked for my mom, and then tomorrow morning we'll obviously come through and pick 3 to 5 baskets for not only my mom, but then for the Scranton Farmers Market. So that's the broccoli, and then right up above this is the cauliflower. Now, cauliflower, we're pretty positive might be some of the biggest we've ever had, just with all the rain and everything, but it's coming on slow. So we've actually been picking it a little smaller than we would like to, but we have so much here that we're kind of afraid it's all gonna come on at once. So we wanna start picking it now, that way it doesn't get ahead of us later in the season. So when cutting broccoli, we like to cut it down enough, obviously, so that we don't cut off any of the, you know, shoots coming out, like any of the main head. But we don't want to cut too far, because we'll actually come back through here then in a week or so once this plant starts producing shoots, and we'll cut more off of it. And the shoots will be coming out of parts like the crease between the leaf and the actual stem. So the more you cut off, the more shoots that you're going to ruin. So we try not to cut off any more of the main stem than we have to. I mean, that is just the perfect head right there. And then we'll take the leaves off. Sometimes I like to leave 1 or 2 on. Just makes it look a little bit fresher, straight from the farm. That's obviously small. This is a beauty. Another thing with this kind of stuff is that you really don't want to touch the head, whether it's cauliflower or cabbage or broccoli. You don't touch the head more than you have to, because in a day or sometimes even a couple hours, you're going to notice that discoloration of the head just from your fingertips grabbing onto it. I mean, sometimes you can't help it, but we try not to do it any more than possible. Okay, so now I'm on a cauliflower. This stuff is so fresh and crispy in the morning. Whenever we cut cauliflower, broccoli, any of this kind of stuff, any of the cole crops, we always cut them in the morning because it's just so much more crisp and it'll stay fresher, especially if we have to put it in the cooler for the next couple hours or the next day so that we can take it to market. Now, you can see that right there. I'm pretty positive that's from frost. That's usually what happens. It seems a little funny the way this one looks. Not 100% sure what it is, but I know once we get a hard frost, that's what they kind of start looking like. But it's funny, none of the other ones are looking like that, so I don't really know what that issue is. If you know, leave a comment. That way I can learn. Alrighty, so now I'm on to sweet corn. It's pretty amazing that we still have corn at this point of the year. Just, I guess, it's the temperatures and not having too much frost yet. I mean, these are just about as perfect of ears as we could have for this time of year. And also, there's no worms. So right there is what it looks like. I've noticed that this time of year, it doesn't get quite as dark of a color than it does in the summer, which is fine. Now, this is also a young ear, so it makes sense that the color isn't quite there yet. But still, if I was gonna eat an ear of sweet corn, this is what I would prefer. And this is what most of our customers prefer because they like it young and poppy, not overgrown, big kernels and tough. Delicious. Hi, Lel. Hi, Nobeen. Okay, so I got back, got the cole crops loaded on my mom's truck, and then my sister and Frank and Steph came back with this load of peppers. We have gotten, I think, 2 or 3 frosts now. Not too bad, but it's getting to the point now where we gotta get everything picked off because if we get any harder frosts, it's gonna start making stuff rot. So they got some long hots here. They got Italian L, just regular Bell mixed with some red. And then here is some banana hots and just more Bell. Then over here is more red Bell. These are a little smaller, but they're a lot more solid, sorry. And they have really nice color. And then some butternut spaghetti, casperitas, potatoes. So right now Shania is putting them through the washer. Cubanelles. And then I'm down here. I'm actually getting backed up a little. Packing them. It's amazing for the middle of October how nice these peppers are still. All right, push them. So that's what I'm gonna call it a wrap for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember it ain't much, but it's honest work.